Let me find out Warlocks the melee class in the game now. Let me find out Warlocks is the melee class in the game now. Let me find out. Let me find out. Let me find out. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. I don't even know how to start this video. People thought I was crazy when I said Bungie's favorite class in the game is Warlock. Since Destiny 1, I've been preaching this. And now look, bro. Warlocks are the best in the game when it comes to grenade builds. They now the best melee build in the game. And they can get the highest DPS in the game now. That's absurd. That is absurd. Every class you're the best at? Absurd. So, the exotic we're running in this build, and I was a believer of this exotic before they changed it up. But the exotic we're using today is Winter Guile. Don't worry about the ornament I put on it, okay? Winter's Guile says melee and finisher final blows increase melee damage. So every time you get one melee kill, you get a stack called Winter Guile. And then if you get a finisher, you get 3 stacks, okay? Now, if you get max stacks with this exotic, it goes to times 10. It gives you 400% increased melee damage. So think of Worm God Caress on Titans, or think of Combination Blow on Hunters. Yeah, you need 10 stacks, but the benefit that it got over Worm God Caress and Combination Blow, when the timer goes out on Warlord Sigils perk right here, trying to speak fast, you don't lose all your stacks. So it's 4.5 seconds for the timer, but if you lose a stack, it just goes down 1. You don't lose every stack. Compared to Combination Blow and Worm God Caress, if the bar goes down, well, Worm God Caress, I know you only lose 1 stack, but like Combination Blow, for example, if the timer goes away, you lose all the stacks, even though the timer is 20 seconds, but still. Then the new perk they added on Worm God Caress, I mean not Worm God Caress, Winter's Guile, is when you get maximum stacks with the melee, once you get times 10, a thing will pop up that say Warlord Fury, okay? When you get Warlord Fury activated, you got 7 seconds to activate the perk. Now, the 7 seconds to activate the perk, you can literally do any melee attack to trigger it. So y'all see I'm getting Warlord Sigils on the side, and it stays on 4 seconds. And just so you guys, if I wait for the number to go away, we're gonna lose 1 stack, okay? So very, very useful. Now, when you see I get this 10 stacks, when I kill this acolyte right here, you get a thing called Warlord Fury ready. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. You can just shoot your weapons and stuff, and if the timer goes away, you go back to times 10 again for stacks. But if you do decide to use it, a melee, if you decide to use your melee, you trigger Warlord Fury, and now your melee comes back super fast with Warlord Fury and a faster, animation for your melee. You lose all your stacks when you activate Warlord Fury, so keep that in mind. Do you want to keep your 400% melee stacks all day, or do you want to just go guns a-blazing once you get the times 10 stacks? Use your melee ability. And your melee ability don't have to hit anything, as you're seeing, to trigger the Warlord Fury. You just gotta use your melee attack and you'll activate it, okay? Now, what the game don't tell you is, well, it does tell you, I mean, it vastly increase your melee. Well, no, it don't tell you. It vastly increase your melee regeneration speed. It doesn't tell you about it shortens the animation time for your melee. And it also doesn't tell you is, while Warlord Fury is on, your melee goes up another stack. So instead of 400% max melee damage, you go to 500%, which is the highest melee freaking percentage in the game for an exotic piece. Warm God Caress only goes to 400%, and Combination Blow Hunters only go to 400%. Winter Guile goes to 500%. So Warlocks are technically the strongest melee damage in the game now. Now, do they have stuff like Titans with knockout and stuff? No, so of course Titans can get higher damage, obviously, the melee build. But with this exotic alone, do they really need it? It kind of cut the gap there, because I think knockout do 120% increase. That's an extra 100% with this, so it ain't that big of a difference, right? So that's the exotic we're using for today. You want to have a 200 stat melee build, so you get that extra 30% melee damage in PvE. Your weapons don't really matter, but a cool thing you can do is put on a glaive. Doesn't matter which glaive you put on. You put on Winter Bite, a regular legendary glaive, or Vescalibur if you want that Void Overshield for survivability. Doesn't matter. I opt in Winter Bite because it's a heavy glaive, so it do more damage when it does melee attacks. But also too, I love the fact that freaking Winter Bite can slow people and it eventually freeze them. Why is that good? When you freeze people in the game, they take 120% more melee damage. So if I freeze this knight and then decide to use my melee, he'll take extra damage compared to if he wasn't frozen. So I love Winter Bite being able to being able to freeze people, and then I do increase melee damage by 120% on top of the extra melee damage we're going to be doing with our with Winter Guile exotic perk, right? And of course, Winter Bite can also throw the ice thing in the air to freeze people around it. So that's why I prefer Winter Bite, just get the freezes off to increase my melee damage even more and go crazy. And again, like I said, it does more melee damage than other glaive because it's a heavy melee. It's a heavy glaive compared to a special weapon glaive. But all up to you. Now, the special thing about Winter Guile is any glaive kills you get, glaives are considered melee damage, okay? So not only glaives getting buffed up damage from your melee stat in your build, but also too, every time I get a kill with the glaive, I will get a stack of Warlord Sigil, and Warlord Guile also buffs the damage of the glaives. So yeah, when you're in a situation where you run out of all your melee charges, right? Let's say you used all your lightning surges, right? And you still don't have the max stacks you want for your Warlord Sigil, don't worry, you just pull out your glaive and start using your glaive to get your stacks up so that you can get Warlord Fury, and then once you got Warlord Fury activated, your melee charges back quick and you can start spamming lightning surges non-stop to, you know, wreak havoc on your opponents and one-shot them and whatnot. So I got glaive on just as the safety net of if I don't have any melee charges on me to keep the Warlord Sigils going. Yeah, you could use your finisher move, since your finisher move do give you 3 stacks of Warlord Sigil. So even if you didn't want to run a glaive, by all means just try to get your finisher moves in. But I find that gameplay loop a little bit jarring, so I just prefer pulling out a glaive and then swinging. And again, like I said, glaives get increased melee damage from Winter Guile, so you're doing dumb damage with your glaives as well, and the glaive getting boosted by the melee stat as well. So you might as well do that dumb damage, right? And then like I said, Winter Bite, when someone froze and you hit them with the glaive and stuff, it does even more damage because it was melee, 120% more damage. So yeah, I just went all in on just Unga Boonga, let me swing with this glaive. You know what I'm saying? But before we continue, shout out to today's sponsor, DVN.net. Guardians, I would like to recommend you all a great service the Traveler blessed us with, DVN.net. Here, you can find a team to complete different activities for you, like raids, dungeons, trials, exotics that you don't have, and even power grind. No longer do you have to torture yourself with grind level torture. You can give it to somebody else. You can torture somebody else with it, okay? All the services can be done without account sharing, so no worries about securing your account and having to give away your login information. To order a service like that, all you have to do is talk to an operator in the bottom right corner where it says chat and schedule a self-play appointment with your order. The website has been working for a long time. It has a lot of players, reviews, and payment methods. You can check out everything yourself, and with the promo code AlchemistKirito, you will have a 15% off discount on all services. If you have any further questions, just ask the operator in the bottom right corner. What you waiting for? Get help from DVN.net today. Now the artifact. The artifact does have 3 perks you want to have on for your Warlock. We rocking Prismatic, so you don't have to have Power from Pain on because you're gonna have Feed the Void on anyway, giving you your Devour. But you could throw this on in case you want to run this build on a different subclass besides Prismatic, but Prismatic is definitely the best one. But the perks you want to have on is Singularity Blade, while you have a Void Elemental buff, aka Devour, melee and sword hits weaken targets. Okay, we doing nothing but melee hits with our glaives and with Lightning Surge and Threaded Needle, right? Arcane Needle, I mean. While melee and sword final blows create a weakening burst. So you want to have this on. This increase your melee damage even more, weakening the enemies by 15%. So that's gonna make you do even more dumb damage, right? And then the other thing you want to have on is, and again, that's just from hits, okay? You don't got to get killed, just swinging on them, weaken them. And then the other thing you want to have on is Armor Smith, which basically say breaking a combatant shield temporarily grants you damage resistance and increased melee damage. Again, glaives are melee damage and your lightning surge and stuff. This increases your melee damage by 100%. 100% for 6 seconds as long as you break a combatant shield. So those are two things you want for this build: Armor Smith and Singularity Blade. Okay, that'll increase your melee damage even more, making this build even more deadly. And then of course, since we're gonna be doing lightning surge and stuff, then you also want Dielectric on with the bolt charges you're gonna be getting and stuff. Just get even more health in your build. So yeah, definitely complete the artifact. It'll make the build even more broken. Alright, subclass. Your super can be whatever you want, but let's be honest, Song of Flame and Needle Storm's the best supers, so pick your poison. Needle Storm with faster purpose will give you a Wolf and Mail on to more damage resistance, and then Song of Flame give you restoration so you can survive even better while you're running at people. Your health just slowly go up while you making orbs. All up to you. Dealer's choice there, okay? We got on Phoenix Dive, obviously, right? Arcane Needle, so we can have 3 melee, so we can spam Lightning Surge with. But also, too, when you have max stacks with Warlord Fury, just throwing Arcane Needles at enemies from far away kills them because of the dumb damage boost that you get. So, by all means, you don't have to even Lightning Surge all day. You can definitely throw Arcane Needles and hit enemies from a distance with that juiced up melee buff you get from everything in this build. So, if an enemy is far away, you don't have to try to run to them and Lightning Surge them. By all means, throw your Arcane Needle, okay? We got on Cold Snap Grenade. Not only do you get the Darkness Transcendence energy, but also, like I said earlier, when an enemy is frozen, they take 120% bonus damage from melee attacks. So Cold Snaps to freeze them, and then I can melee them with my Lightning Surge or a regular melee and do some dumb damage to them, or with my Glaive. And then of course we got Feed the Void on, so that we get devoured from any ability kills we get, so we can keep getting our health up every kill we get, so we can just run in and punch people and not have to ever worry about is we gonna die or not. And of course, Lightning Surge give you Amplify for that damage resistance, make enemies miss their shots, and you get bolt charges, so every time you do a melee attack, you'll strike lightning down and do even more damage. So of course, Lightning Surge is the best melee Warlocks can run with a build like this. Fragments. Some fragments here are interchangeable, but these are the best ones I think to put on. I put on Facet of Awakening, so when I get rapid kills with my Lightning Surge, I'll make Ionic Trace, which will give me more ability energy, so I have my melee back even quicker. I put on Facet of Purpose for that survivability, but if you feel like you're doing good with just Devour alone, by all means, you can take this off and put on something else. Devour Amplified, of course. If you're someone that's running Excalibur, you have a Void Overshield, which will give you an even more or less a reason to not use this fragment right here, because you will have a Void Overshield with Excalibur. Facet of Purpose, of course, because you will be running in, swinging on enemies, so you get that damage resistance. Facet of Balance, you will be getting light kills, and if you get light kills, you get melee energy, so this gives you even more uptime on spamming Lightning Surge, and Lightning Surge kill a group of enemies, and you get a chunk of melee energy to be able to do it again. And then we got Facet of Courage on to increase our melee damage even more. If an enemy is affected by a dark debuff, in our case, whether they're frozen or unraveled because of Arcane Needle, our melee, our Lightning Surge do more damage, okay? And Facet of Courage, it doesn't do 10% anymore for melee damage, it does 50%. So as long as the enemy is affected by a dark debuff, your melee is going to be doing, your Lightning Surge is going to be doing 50% more damage, okay? And by the way, with Song of Flame, your melee and your super does not count as melee damage. It's considered super damage, okay? So don't think you're going to be cheeky doing some insane Song of Flame damage with Winter Gale. It don't work like that. But you can use Warlord Fury inside Song of Flame, and it will make your melee come back even quicker, so you can snap even quicker. So you can take advantage of that. It will be doing that much, right? Alright, weapon armor mods. I have on Heavy Ammo Finder and Scout just because I don't have nothing else I need in this build. So just make sure I have Winter Bite ammo on me, because you need at least 1 ammo Winter Bite so it can do that slow effect and do increased damage while you're swinging on people. So that's why I got that on. And then I got on Hands On, so when I am spamming Lightning Surge and Arcane Needles, I get my super back quicker for Song of Flame, which is very important. I want to teach y'all some tech here after I showcase this. RMPs, we got 3 heavy-handed on, so every time I kill somebody for a melee attack, not including Glaives, just your Arcane Needle and Lightning Surge, you will make an orb power on the ground to pick up, which is good for Facet of Purpose and health stat. You pick up a chunk, you get health back, whatever, on top of the Devourer. So again, you should never be worried about survivability in this build. Chest piece we got on melee damage resistance, since we will be within what is it, 3 meters, 5 meters within 5 meters within enemies. So this will give you that damage resistance, and stack it on with whatever element they're shooting at you. Survivability, okay. Leg piece we got on better already. Invigoration and Orbs Restoration. We mostly only gonna be using our melee in this build. So whenever we pick up an Orb Power, we'll get a chunk of melee energy, so we can, you know, uptime on our melee even more for both of these being on stacked together. And then our class item, I do have 1-2 finisher on, so if you do a finisher move with Winter Guile, I'll get a chunk of melee energy back. You know, because we just gonna have armor charges on us just to have on us. So, and finisher move gives 3 stacks of Winter Guile. So yeah, perfect synergy there. Then I got Outreach on, so if I do finish dive, I get some melee energy back. And then I got Reaper on, so if I do get a melee, after I finish dive, I get a weapon kill and make an orb. You can't change this to Dynamo in case you do finish dive within a group of enemies. You get ability energy for all your abilities. So matter of fact, personally, I don't think we need Reaper on. I definitely say put distribution on. I said Dynamo. Distribution on. So whenever you use your ability, you get cooldown for everything. Okay. Now the tech I want to show you guys. If you're not using the Glaze tech that I mentioned, right, to keep your stacks, the way you will be able to cycle through your abilities would be, let's say you use 3 lightning surges, right? Lightning surge, lightning surge, lightning surge, right? And you may be a little bit off. So what will you do? You'll pop Transcendence, right? So now you got your abilities back again, right? You had 0 melee charges, you pop Transcendence, now you got your 3 charges back, and then you're able to spam some more, right? Now, you may be in your Transcendence for a while because you're killing people all day. But let's say Transcendence goes off, right? Alright, now your Transcendence went off. You back to 0 melees again. So what will you do? Pop your super. Start getting some melee kills in your super, right? And then once your super goes off, you have 3 stacks of Arcane Needles again. 3 stacks of your melee again. And then all you do is use your melees again. Now by this time, by you do that full cycle, you should have your Transcendence bar back again. And then you can rinse, wash, and repeat. So that's the way you'll cycle through your abilities to always have melee charges on you. And by that time, you'll have Warlord Fury activated multiple times too while doing that. And that's how you'll keep the cycle gameplay loop going without you having to use your glaive if you're not a fan of the glaive gameplay with this build. But that's the build. Warlocks, y'all just eating good, bro. Yeah, I'm wishing hunters get this type of love eventually, man. Anyway, trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you don't mind, share this video around to other people, this build and stuff, and subscribe if you're new. Mean a lot to me if I hit 10K by the end of the year. Anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you guys always. Until next time, stay up.